everyone, welcome to this mini-series, and on this mini-series I will approach the topic of project execution, which is the time where you actually have to do the project and the things that you need to be careful about. In this first video I want to talk about project team building. The official definition of project team is the set of individuals who support the project manager in performing the work of the project to achieve its objectives. There's a couple of things here that we need to break down. Okay. Normally, this is a team composed of different functions, and everyone will have their own specialization inside the project. And so we're dealing with people that come from a variety of backgrounds. Some people will only join for a few tasks or maybe for just a few phases, while other team members might join for the whole project. So here is the concept of the core team. Exactly these people that stay with the project from beginning to start. And obviously, the core team is responsible for the overall project success. In terms of team roles and responsibility, there's a couple of things I want to say. First of all, we have obviously the core team. Then we have the project leader, and the core team manages all the aspects of the project. They also do decision making when it comes to many of the tasks that they are specialized on, and they are also responsible for the project success. The project team leader responsibilities, on the other hand, is the overall responsibility of the project, not the responsibility for each one of the tasks. The other two important groups of people that we have will be the core team members and the extended team. Core team members have the responsibility to lead the extended teams that they're responsible for. So for example, you might have someone in the core team responsible for marketing, but you might have, for example, outside providers doing a website design, and therefore it's his responsibility to deal with these outside providers. Core team members are also responsible for the functional skills and leadership skills they need to manage their own functions, obviously, and to manage functional deliverables. In other words, to manage the deliverables associated with the function that they have. Extended teams, on the other hand, they have all the additional project resources that are not, let's say, in the project core team, therefore extended, and they complete project deliverables that for a variety of reasons the core team is not doing. So it's very important that the team works well together, and for that there's this model that I really like about team building. This model states that a team will go through 4 phases: forming, storming, norming, performing. Forming phase is the very first one, when the team comes together. They introduce each other, they get to meet each other, and so on. Storming, on the other hand, is when the first problems start to occur, and the more people you have, the more problems you're going to have. Norming is when things start to kind of work out well and the people start to realize how to work together. And performing is the stage that you want, where you have maximum efficiency. So during the forming phase, it's important to understand that your responsibility as team leader is to develop a positive working environment. In other words, to culminate into or to improve the relationships between the people that you have there. During the storming phase, which is inevitable, you will have to deal with power and control issues and try to be as fair and as decisive as possible. During the norming phase, things are a little bit better, but you still have to manage conflicts that are happening, especially when it comes to responsibilities of tasks. And during the performing phase, you are functioning already as an effective team, and all you need to do is to keep on developing that positive work environment. Now, every time, or when a team is created, the more new members come in, then the longer the storming phase will last. And so what does that mean? It means that, for example, if you already have a team and one member leaves and a new person comes in, the storming phase will be much shorter, rather than having, for example, 5 or 6 different people leaving and 5 or 6 people joining. The bigger the change, the bigger the duration of the storming phase. So what do you need to do? In each one of the phases, well, for the forming, your goal is to achieve the project objectives and to tell people what the objectives are, to have open communication and trust, and to have a rapid and effective decision-making process. All right. During the storming phase, it's a little bit different, because in this phase, it's the hardest work for the manager, in my opinion. Here you have to resolve the issues or the weaknesses that you have in the product. You have to establish what are the best best practices to work together, and you have to resolve control concerns. What do I mean with that? Is to talk about who is responsible for each task, who has power to control a task, and who does not have the power to control another task, for example. In terms of norming, we're talking here about norming is when things start, like I said, to work out a little bit, but you still have to identify what are the issues remaining that I still have to solve. And again, you have to identify what are the weaknesses on the way that that I approach this product, on the way with the project approach itself. What could have been done different to improve this working, to improve the work environment. During the performing phase, your goal now, or your job, is now to establish the goals and the roles, to make sure you recognize the individual skills, and to keep on developing this commitment that the team has towards your project. But solving problems is always complicated. What is the best approach to try to solve problems? Well, there's many theories out there, but I really like the GRPI theory. GRPI stands for goals, roles, processes, and interpersonals. And this is the four main categories of problems that you typically have on a project. Goal problems are problems related to the purpose of the project, problems related to the mission and vision of the project. Roles problems come from the key roles that you have in the project, or role assignments, maybe conflict, two people that got assigned to do the same task, or someone that did not get assigned to do a specific task. Process problems is about how the work gets done, and it's about problems with procedures, rules, or the measurements that you are using in order to check how the work is going. And finally, interpersonal problems is problems related to people. So it's about managing conflict, it's about having a more effective work between team members, and about, for example, sometimes when people literally hate each other during a project. So here we see that this is the four types of roles. So now the big question you have to answer is, what kind of problem do I have? Now, if you are having what we call a project team building problem, or if you're trying to work on project team building, then what you need to do is to start from top and go to the bottom. So you start by defining the roles, the goals, then you go and define the roles, you define the processes, and then you work on the interpersonal skills. And here the objective is to go from general to more specific. Okay, obviously everyone is involved on this so that everyone understands what is their position in the project. On the other hand, if you have a project conflict resolution problem, so during the project there is an issue, what should you do? Well, typically what we do during the project is first we start by working, okay, is this an interpersonal problem? If it is, we try to solve it. If not, okay, then it must be a process problem. Is it? No. If not, it might be a role problem, and if not, might be a goal problem. So you work from bottom up, because when during project resolution, it makes much more sense to start at the bottom, since this would be the major categories or the most frequent type of problem you have. So on this one, we spoke specifically about problems related to the project team, how to build better effective teams, and what to do when we have a problem with our team. Okay, let me know if you have any questions, and in the meantime, I'll see you on the next video.